Yes, if you're here, you're on the best SEO channel on YouTube. And this is for the bulk ponies. This is for the swag princes, the swag princesses. And guess what? You're going to learn something today because I am a black hat SEO guru. Just kidding. I'm not one of those people, okay? I'm here to actually show you something. And so today we are going to go through backlinks. I mean, people love backlinks. So why not go through the absolute best way to build natural backlinks? And no, I am not talking to you about the places to build them because guess what? That actually does not matter as much as you might think. It is the way that you build your backlink. And yes, the way that I'm going to show you how to build this backlink means that you will not get penalized by Google. Who wants to get penalized by Google? No one wants to get penalized by Google, that's for sure. So if you're here, remember that the other SEOs on YouTube are playing with Tonka trucks and we are playing with the big rigs, okay? We are where it's at. So let's keep watching. Let's go. Let's just get into this, okay? If you don't like this video, I don't know, check out some other videos on my channel. Like I always say, you'll find something on there that's useful, that's shocking, that you can actually apply today. Remember, you can apply this stuff today. All right, so let's just start with a little quote. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery that mediocrity can pay to greatness. How beautiful is that? Oscar Wilde. I love me some Oscar Wilde. Okay, so you've been building some backlinks, right? And you're like, well, why don't they work? Why don't these backlinks work? Well, yeah. Today's video is going to be pretty shocking for you. It's going to be simple, but also you're going to be like, duh, why didn't I do this? I guarantee it. And if you're already doing it, then I guess kudos to you. You don't need to leave a comment fluffing your feathers and saying, I've already been doing this for years. Okay, if you've been doing it, then cool. Congratulations. But if you have not been doing it, then it's going to be quite obvious to you. Okay? One of my favorite gifts. Then he said, I don't know why I ain't ranking. I paid $5 for 1,000 backlinks on Fiverr. Yeah, okay. Yeah, pretty normal. Okay, so this is what crappy backlinks look like. These are real backlinks that I pulled. Typically, crappy backlinks are just like blobs of text with like some links in it. And people are like, well, why didn't this work? This is pretty common actually. Like the internet is filled with this. This is what indexing links look like, which is why I tell you never to use indexing services. And it's like, yeah, why didn't it work? I mean, this is what it looks like, y'all. So if you don't need to spend a ton of money building backlinks, watch my videos on like the fact that you don't need backlinks, but it can be very useful, especially if you're going into highly competitive subject matters. So, if you're going to be going into like, just law, anything YMYL, your money, your life, you're going to need to build the authority of your site, okay? And yes, that takes a little bit long, but, and yes, it takes some money too. But stuff like this is definitely not going to work. And in fact, it's probably going to hurt you in the long run. Okay, so let's go through a real article. So this is just a USA Today article that I pulled, okay? So this is what it looks like from USA Today. And yeah, this is just like a news article. You can see that it was published back in 2015. It was updated 2015, whatever, right? So just take a look at this article for a second, and I'm going to give you 5 seconds to look at it. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, do you notice anything about the article? I think what's really key here is that what you're going to look at probably is the backlink, right? You're going to say, oh, okay, well, let me look at the backlink and let me look at that anchor. That anchor is 345 hot dogs and sausages. Perfect backlink anchor, by the way. Everyone should use hot dogs and sausages as your backlink anchor. Just kidding. Don't do that. Do not make hot dogs and sausages your backlink anchor. If I have to tell you that, maybe you shouldn't be watching my channel. Okay, just kidding. Anyway, so what you should notice actually is how many times that entities are referred to on this page. So entities are highlighted below. So basically you have clear food over here on the left. You have the backlink, yes. You have Clear Food mentioned once again. Hopefully you can see that. Let's go ahead and zoom in just a little bit for y'all. Okay, you can see Clear Food mentioned. The backlink is actually mentioned. You can see Clear Food mentioned again, which is a business name. Okay, and then you can see people starting to get mentioned. Janet Riley, president of National Hot Dog and Sausage Council, my favorite company of all time, honestly. And then Riley is also mentioned here again. And if I were to go through the article in more detail, like this one, you could see it just happens over and over and over again. The National Hot Dog Council and Clear Food are mentioned probably 3, 4, 5 different times in this article. Clear Food mentioned once again right here. I'm highlighting it for you. It's over and over and over again, okay? There are entities that are mentioned in this article. Google has entities, okay? That's what these are. An entity can be a person, it can be a company. And you might be thinking to yourself, okay, well, Google can't really figure that out. Like, how are they going to be able to figure out that something is an entity? Well, it's quite simple. When you have an article and you have words and phrases that are not in the dictionary and they're mentioned within articles, it's pretty easy to snip those out and to kind of create a cluster in your database of how many times those entities are mentioned. So if you have entities that are not mentioned very highly or very, very frequently, especially by trusted resources, then you kind of have this situation where you're like, well, the machine can determine that it's basically not important, right? But if it's mentioned a lot, like new words like Uber and the way that Uber is referenced, or Clear Food here, or National Hot Dog and Sausage Council, a machine can really get a better understanding of what it is. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, no, Google doesn't do that. Google doesn't do that. Okay, they definitely do. Okay, so check this out. This is the search results for National Hot Dog and Sausage Council. This is EEAT. This right here, this search result, the number of times that you are mentioned, it doesn't mean linked, the number of times that you are mentioned across the internet, the amount of times that you are actually building your authority through the actual search results like this. This is EEAT. So National Hot Dog and Sausage Council, I'm going to go ahead and remove this highlight. You can see it is not linked, okay? And that does not matter. So you can actually get basically a backlink just through a mention. That's how it's connecting the tissue, is that it is building your profile, okay, on your Google search results page just by getting a mention. So you don't even need the backlink. You can just get a mention, and Google's machines will just be scanning all these documents and be essentially adding points to your entity. So if you're a company or if you're a person, you need to be building up your name. The best websites that are ranking right now are the ones that have people who have names on it, like not names on the author, but built names for themselves, okay? So people who are like on HGTV or whatever, who have built names for themselves, or brands and companies that have built names for themselves too, okay? So you can get a backlink even without actually having a real backlink. You can just get, a reference. And so keep that in mind, okay? That's the way that EEAT is really getting built, and no one is talking about that on Google. And so if you don't understand that, watch this video a couple more times, take a look at more articles. My recommendation would be to look at news articles and look at the way that they reference entities, people, companies, things like that. And then your goal, in short, because this video is about building, really high quality backlinks, okay? Your goal, in short, is to do roughly the same thing, okay? So your ideal backlink, number one, the way to build it, let's say you're doing a guest post, okay? So if you have a guest post that you're doing, number one, you want to mention your company or name multiple times in the article. But make sure that this is natural. Refer to some other companies and names in that article too. Don't just stuff it full of yours. Remember, try to replicate what they did here. You have one entity, Clear Food. You have a second entity, National Hot Dog Council. You have another entity of Janet Riley that's showing up. You have multiple entities, and as you read through the article, there's even more that's mentioned. World Health Organization is mentioned. The Hebrew National is mentioned, okay? Like, there are multiple entities that are mentioned. So if you're writing an article that you're going to be posting somewhere on the internet, make sure that you are writing it in a way that refers to multiple real entities just like this. So that way you kind of mask your backlink that you're building, okay? That way it looks extremely natural. And don't just focus on the anchor. Just focus on the names that you're mentioning, the people that you're mentioning, all that stuff first, and mask it with a couple other entities that you're referring to, okay? Do you need to have your guest post be, relevant to your niche? We'll get into that in a second, but the answer is no. Always create a pull quote like this. A pull quote is like a person that you would have been interviewing, a pretend person that you would have been interviewing to get a quote from them. So think of yourself as a news reporter and you interviewing yourself, okay? And then think of like a quote that you want to say. So in this example, it'd be like James Avery from Company said something here. I never see people doing this when they're building their backlinks, and it's like, y'all are just doing it wrong. All these insertions and stuff, like, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. I'm sorry. And then, okay, number 3, do not worry so much about the anchor. Don't worry about that. Rather, make sure that your entity alignment is there. So don't worry so much about your anchor. Don't worry so much about where you're posting. Worry about the references and the number of references that are happening to the entities and the higher quality scale of websites that you can get to do that. Basically, think about it this way. If you were to be on the news, like you won the lottery or something, and your name was mentioned all across the news, yeah, that's like Google's going to know that like you are getting all these points to your name. You kind of want to recreate that event. You want to recreate like some type of series of events where you are getting, a number of mentions across the internet. That's what you're trying to do, okay? And you want them to look as natural as freaking possible. So here's an example. So James Avery from Company, the company in this case would be the anchor. If you want to do that, that's totally fine. Said, we've been struggling for years with this issue or something. I'm, just saying that out loud. It's not what it actually says. But if you want to make your backlink the company name, I think that's great. You want to make it James Avery, that's probably fine too. It's the way that you're referring to the entity in the article, and then make sure that you have multiple scenarios where James Avery is being mentioned in the article and they're not linked, okay? Don't try to stuff this and make this like so unnatural. And I know people are going to roast me up. They're going to be like, well, why not worry about the anchor? Okay, people get mentioned all over the internet like every day in all sorts of different ways on all sorts of different properties, like Google trying to decipher, is this the niche that it should be in? Like whatever, like it doesn't matter. It's the way the article is referring to the person and the number of times that that's happening across the internet in a way that sort of aligns with the subject matter, okay? So if, for example, you were a lottery winner and then you started a lottery website, most likely that lottery website is going to work. I'm just saying. That's probably going to work, okay? So, and you could do that across, if you were a barbecue pit master and then you started a barbecue website, that's going to work. And the reason why is because, and that's EEAT, that's what they're trying to describe. But the reason is like if you were a famous barbecue pit master, sorry, I should say famous, like you were already mentioned across the internet for your, your famous barbecue, and then you started a barbecue website, yes, that's probably going to work. And it has nothing to do with your backlinks or your author profile in the website or whatever. It has everything to do with the number of mentions that you have across the internet. And then when you start a website, and yes, you have an about page with your name on it, it will align all that together, which I know sounds a little bit magical, but it's really not. Google's been doing this for a pretty long time, okay? The reason why it's been doing it for a pretty long time is because you have pages like this that show up, which are, that's how Google works. And these, you can search for entities, and then you could see entity results. And then in this page, if we were to look up National Hot Dog and Sausage Council, what you could see is you could just see a number of news mentions for this entity. So see, it classifies them together. It clusters them together. And that's what you want to create. Most of the times that I've seen people fail and get penalized by Google, you Google their brand and there's no search results for them. You Google their brand and there's just nobody there, okay? There's nothing there. There's no mentions of them across the internet. I'm not talking backlinks. I'm talking mentions. So I hope this helps today. This is key. This is crucial. If you don't understand this video, I would say it's a little bit for the moderate person, not for the advanced person, but for the moderate person. Watch it a couple more times, and my suggestion to you is just to look at news articles and just try to recreate that news article and then post it somewhere on the internet. Like, try to write a fake news article where you refer to multiple people, multiple companies, and your company or person is in that article, and then just blast that across the internet. Just try to recreate a news article like you see here, okay? And that will work really, really well. I promise you that, okay? Now, I am going to switch gears. If you like this video, please go ahead, like, subscribe, do all those things. I'm posting up more videos. I hope that you do like it. Keep in mind, I don't really have anything to sell you, but if you can just keep watching my videos for free, learn everything. No one talks about what I just talked about here. No one on YouTube talks about it, so give me the credit for that. I don't think you'll see a majority of the things that I talk about on my YouTube channel talked about anywhere on YouTube, because this is for the real pros, honestly, and this is not for the people on YouTube who know nothing about SEO. So this is for the real pros. And if you want me to help you, I'm perfectly okay with that. I've been working with some people, doing some consultation work. Either you have a brand or you want to build a brand, and I'm happy to invest in your organic search channel with you and grow your SEO presence in the correct and proper ways that help you build a long-term brand. That's what I really am capable of doing. Typically, I ask for a $15,000 minimum investment, and that's because it's going to be multiple months of work. SEO is not like an easy thing to do these days. And if you have a big brand, yeah, SEO is really not dead as much as people say it. It's really not. And there's a great opportunity for e-com out there. There's a great opportunity for people who want to get into just having a larger share of voice, it's called. So happy to do that. And also happy to just kind of work on a lot of the content strategy, which I talk a lot about on my videos. Content strategy is king these days. And, here's a little bit more detail on that, and you can email me. And yes, I do have a subscription that you can join on my channel where I'm going to do longer videos, especially one about backlink building. It is $50 a month. I'm not doing one that's cheap. I'm just not doing it. I'm sorry. But if you want to join the members portion of my channel, please do that. And then I'm going to do some lives as well, try to do some Q&A. So hopefully you like this video. That's all the things. Remember, if you're a black hat SEO, I hope your charts are going up and to the right. Okay? Hugs and kisses. Goodbye.